You know that feeling? You're just scrolling, maybe on your phone, and bam, suddenly you feel like you're falling behind.
Oh, yeah. The vacation pics, the job news, even just someone's like perfect Tuesday afternoon.
Exactly. It feels so, I don't know, modern,
Yeah.
tied to our screens. But what we found doing this deep dive is it's actually not new at all.
Not at all. It's a really fundamental human thing. We've been digging into social comparison theory, and that actually goes way back, I think the 1950s.
Wow. Okay. 1950s. So social comparison theory. Can you break that down for us? What's the core idea?
Yeah, sure. So basically the idea is that we figure out our own worth, our own standing by looking at other people, especially when there's no like objective ruler to measure ourselves against.
Okay. That makes sense. So like if you start a new project, you might kind of glance over at your colleagues to see how you're stacking up.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
And the theory basically talks about two main ways we do this. There's upward comparison.
Right. Looking at people who seem, better off or more successful.
And then there's downward comparison. That's when we look at people we see as maybe less fortunate or doing worse than us.
Got it. So upward, seeing that LinkedIn post about a promotion.
Yeah.
Downward, maybe reading a tough news story.
Precisely. And importantly, both directions have their potential traps.
Oh, for sure. Upward
Yeah.
comparison. That can just make you feel totally inadequate, right? Constantly seeing highlight reels.
Definitely. And downward, well, it might give you a little temporary boost, maybe make you feel grateful for a second.
Yeah, like, phew, at least I'm not dealing with that.
Right. But it doesn't actually help you with your own goals or feelings. It's kind of a distraction, really.
Yeah, temporary fix. And, okay, so this is an old theory, but social media, it's like pouring gasoline on this fire, isn't it?
Absolutely. It amplifies it massively. We're just
Yeah.
bombarded with these super curated, often totally unrealistic versions of life. It's almost impossible not to compare.
Seriously. And there was that APA study from 2023 we looked at.
Ah, yes. The American Psychological Association. That was interesting. It found a pretty clear link, didn't it, between using visually focused social media like Instagram or TikTok
Yeah.
and an increase in negative self-comparison. Pretty quickly, too.
So just spending time on there makes you feel worse about yourself, basically.
That's what it suggested. And what was really striking was that this happened even when they accounted for people's starting level of self-esteem.
Wait, really? So even if you feel pretty good about yourself going in, too much scrolling can still chip away at that?
Seems like it. It's like you're constantly seeing everyone else's polished final product.
Uh-huh. Their highlight reel.
Exactly. While you're sitting there knowing all your own messy behind-the-scenes stuff, the bloopers, it's bound to create a disconnect.
Yeah, no wonder it makes people feel inadequate. But the sources also said it's not just social media, right? There are bigger things at play.
That's a crucial point. Society itself pushes us towards comparison. Think about the culture we live in. Capitalism, for instance. Well, it often fosters this constant sense of competition. There's always this underlying pressure to do more, have more, be more than the next person. It's like this never-ending race.
Yeah, the hustle culture. Keep climbing.
Right. And then you've got these really strong cultural ideas about what success looks like. You know, the big house, the fancy car, the job title.
The external markers.
Exactly. But those markers, they might have absolutely nothing to do with what actually makes you feel fulfilled or happy.
That's so true. We chase these things sometimes without even stopping to ask, wait, is this even my definition of a good life?
Precisely. And tied into that is this myth of pure meritocracy.
The idea that if you just work hard enough, you'll succeed, and if you don't, it's all on you.
Yes. And while effort matters, of course, that view completely ignores things like systemic barriers, privilege, inequality, and just plain old luck.
Right. So when we compare ourselves and feel like we're failing, we blame ourselves entirely without seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. It leads to this unfair self-blame. It's kind of like you're playing a game, but you don't realize the rules are rigged against you sometimes.
That's a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
But, okay, the good news, the sources also stress that comparison is essentially a mindset.
Yes. And that means it can be changed. We can reshape how we approach it.
Okay, brilliant. So before we jump into the how-to, the strategies for breaking free,
Yeah.
let's just sit with the costs for a minute. Why is this constant comparing actually so bad for us?
Well, the psychological cost is huge. The articles we reviewed described it as basically an unwinnable game.
Unwinnable.
How so? Because there's always someone who seems to be doing better in some area, right? So you're stuck in this loop of feeling not enough. It's like being on a treadmill that just keeps speeding up.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you can never really arrive.
Never. And then there's the emotional toll. We're talking increased anxiety, higher rates of depression, and resentment.
Ugh, resentment. There's such a corrosive feeling, isn't it?
It really is. It just eats away at your own peace. And there was that 2021 study, I think it was in the Journal of Happiness Studies.
Yes, I remember that one. What did it find?
It directly linked frequent upward comparison, looking at people doing better with lower life satisfaction overall, and also significantly higher rates of burnout.
Burnout.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. It must be exhausting, constantly tracking and judging yourself against others.
Completely exhausting. And it's not just mental or emotional. The sources pointed to physical effects, too.
Physical? Like what?
Well, think about chronic stress. This constant feeling of social threat, of not measuring up. It activates our body's stress response system, the fight or flight thing. It's like our ancient biology kicking in inappropriately.
Wow. So it literally impacts our bodies. And what about how it messes with our perception of reality?
Well, big time. We start to genuinely believe that everyone else has it all figured out, that their lives are seamless.
Right. We see the smooth surface and assume there's nothing turbulent underneath. That classic trap. Comparing our backstage mess to their front stage performance.
Exactly. And the articles gave good examples, like the colleague who got the big promotion. They might be drowning in imposter syndrome.
Or the friend with the perfect family photos online could be dealing with major relationship issues behind closed doors.
Precisely. We conveniently forget that everyone has struggles. People just don't usually put their anxieties and failures on blast for the world to see.
So true. But maybe the biggest cost, the one that really hit me from the reading.
Yeah. What was that?
It's how comparison steals our own potential.
Ooh, say more about that. That sounds really important. Well, think about it. All the time and energy we spend watching someone else's path, envying their results, maybe even trying to copy them, that's energy not spent figuring out our own path, our own values, what actually excites us. We get sidetracked.
So we're busy trying to squeeze into someone else's story.
Exactly. Instead of writing and starring in our own.
Okay. Wow. So this is clearly a big deal. It's deep-rooted, it's amplified by our world, and it costs us dearly, mentally, emotionally, physically, even potentially robbing us of our own unique path.
Yeah.
So what do we do? How do we actually start to loosen its grip?
Right, the practical stuff. And thankfully, the articles offered a whole range of strategies. The very first one is all about awareness. Just noticing your triggers.
Triggers, okay. Like what sets off that comparison feeling?
Exactly. You can't fix something if you don't know when or why it's happening. The suggestion was to maybe keep a small journal or even just make mental notes. When does that feeling hit?
So pay attention. What were you doing? Scrolling a specific app? Talking to a certain person? Feeling tired or stressed already?
Precisely. Look for patterns. Maybe it's always Tuesday afternoons, or maybe it's after seeing posts from one particular person.
Okay. And once you know the trigger,
then you can start to manage it. Maybe you limit exposure, maybe you prepare yourself mentally, maybe you just acknowledge it.
Got it. So like a concrete action for someone listening?
Yeah, next time you feel that pang of comparison, just pause. Ask yourself, okay, what just happened? What triggered this? And then maybe ask, is this useful? Is it even true? Just that pause can make a difference.
I like that. Simple awareness. Okay, what's next? This seems connected. Limiting social media.
Ah, yes. The elephant in the room, or maybe the perfectly filtered selfie in the room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable, right?
Okay.
These platforms are almost designed for comparison. We talked about those curated highlight reels and that Q Research Center report.
Yeah, the one about the pressure people feel to present this perfect life online.
That's the one. It's like everyone's their own PR manager, which, isn't reality.
Not even close. But the sources weren't saying, delete everything, go live in a cave.
No, thankfully.
Yeah.
So what did they suggest? Practical steps.
Yeah, things like being mindful about who you follow. If an account consistently makes you feel bad, unfollow it. Curate your feed.
Okay, Marie Kondo your social media feed. Does it spark joy or does it spark envy?
Kind of, yeah. Fill it with things that actually inspire you, teach you something, make you laugh, and use those screen time tools on your phone.
Oh yeah, those are crucial. Set limits. Even reducing by 30 minutes a day could help.
Definitely. So maybe a concrete action here. Try a 24-hour social media break this weekend. Just see how it feels. Notice if your mood shifts.
A digital detox challenge. Okay. Strategy 3 sounds more positive. Reframing comparison as inspiration.
Yes. I really liked this one. Instead of letting envy take over when you see someone succeed.
Which is often the default reaction, let's be honest.
It often is. But the idea is to consciously shift. Ask, okay, what can I actually learn here? What skills did they use? What steps did they take? Turn envy into curiosity.
So less, ooh, why not me? And more, how did they do that?
Exactly. Get curious, not critical of yourself. Sometimes the articles even suggested you could actually reach out to the person you admire.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
ask them how they did it.
Yeah, you might be surprised how willing people are to share. But even if that's too much, just identify one positive habit they have or one skill and think about how you can incorporate a tiny bit of that into your own life.
Okay, I like that. Action step. Think of someone you compared yourself to recently. Can you identify maybe 3 things, qualities, actions, habits that you could genuinely work towards yourself?
Nice. Okay, strategy 4. This one brings it back home. Define your own version of success.
Ah, yes. Because so much comparison comes from chasing society's definition, right? The money, the status.
Totally. We get fed these images constantly, but this strategy is about pausing and asking, what does success actually mean to me personally? What are my values? What really matters?
It's about writing your own scorecard.
Precisely. And your definition might be totally different. Maybe it's about creativity or relationships or contribution or just having free time. It's running your own race.
Love that. So the action step.
Take some real time. Sit down, reflect, maybe journal. What does a successful life look like for you? Maybe even write a personal mission statement. The example given was great. Success for me is having time for family and pursuing art regardless of income.
That's powerful. Okay, strategy 5 flows nicely from that. Cultivate daily gratitude.
Yes, gratitude. The articles called it comparison's kryptonite.
Kryptonite. Love it. Why?
Because when you're genuinely focusing on what you do have, what you're thankful for, there's just less mental space for envy and noticing what you lack. It shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance.
Makes sense. And there's science behind this too, right? That 2020 study in emotion.
Yep. Showed that regular gratitude practice boosts well-being and actually reduces feelings of envy. It works.
And it doesn't have to be huge things, right?
Not at all. The suggestion is super simple. Each day, just jot down 3 things you're grateful for. Could be tiny. Your coffee, a sunny moment, a nice text message.
Anything that brings a little positive feeling.
Exactly. So, action step 5. Make it a habit. Set a reminder. Write down 3 good things daily.
Okay, simple but powerful. Number 6, celebrate your wins, big and small.
Yes. We're often so quick to focus on our flaws or where we fall short, especially when comparing. This is about flipping the script.
So consciously notice and acknowledge your own accomplishments.
Exactly, even the tiny ones. It builds that internal sense of competence and self-worth, so you rely less on what others are doing or saying.
How can people do that practically?
Simple things. Maybe end each day by writing down one thing you did well or felt proud of. Or, I love this idea, create a wins jar.
A wins jar.
Yeah. Write down your achievements, big or small, on little slips of paper, put them in a jar. Then, when you're feeling down, you can pull a few out as a reminder.
That's brilliant. A physical collection of your successes.
Yeah.
Okay, action step. Start noticing those small wins. Acknowledge them. Maybe start that jar.
Do it. Okay, strategy 7. Take a broader perspective. Focus on your own unique journey.
Right. The reminder that life isn't a race against others. It's your own path, your own pace.
Exactly. Comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, it's just pointless and painful. We all have different timelines, different challenges, different strengths.
Like that quote, judging a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
Perfect analogy. Focus on your progress. How far have you come? Maybe compare yourself now to yourself a year ago. What have you learned? Overcome.
That's a much healthier comparison. So the action step.
Maybe create a personal timeline. Not just career stuff, but personal growth, relationships, challenges navigated. Reflect on your unique journey and appreciate it.
Love that. Okay, number 8 feels really important. Cultivate self-compassion.
Oh, huge. This is about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend who's struggling.
So when that comparison feeling hits and you feel inadequate, instead of beating yourself up,
Be kind to yourself. Acknowledge the feeling without judgment. Remind yourself it's okay to be imperfect. That struggle is part of being human. Kristen Neff's work is amazing on this.
yeah, she talks about shared humanity. We all feel this way sometimes. The article had a simple exercise.
Yes, just place your hand over your heart, gently, and silently repeat something like, "May I be kind to myself," or "I am enough."
Wow. That sounds really grounding.
It can be. So, action step. Next time the comparison gremlin bites, try it. Hand on heart. Gentle words to yourself.
Okay. Strategy 9, your social environment. Surround yourself with supportive people.
Absolutely critical. Who you spend time with massively influences your mindset. If you're always around super competitive or negative people.
It's going to be way harder to stop comparing. Like saying you're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with.
Exactly. So be intentional. Seek out people who lift you up. Celebrate your wins genuinely. Make you feel good. Quality over quantity.
Makes sense. Action step.
Reach out to one positive, supportive person in your life this week. Nurture that connection. Have a coffee. Send a message.
Good one. Okay, number 10. Challenge the highlight reel. We touched on this.
Yes, but it bears repeating. Constantly remind yourself, what you see online, even in person sometimes, is curated, edited. It's not the full picture.
It's the trailer, not the whole movie, including the outtakes.
Perfect. So when you feel envy, try to humanize the other person. Remember, they have struggles too, even if you can't see them.
The article suggested actively thinking about what problems they might be facing.
Yeah, like list 3 potential difficulties they could be dealing with. It just helps break down that illusion of perfection.
That's a great mental exercise. Okay, number 11. Cultivate a growth mindset.
Yes, based on Carol Dweck's work, it's about believing your abilities aren't fixed. You can develop them through effort and learning.
So instead of I'm bad at this, it's I can get better at this.
Exactly. Focus on the process of learning, not just the outcome. And this changes how you see other success too. It becomes inspiration, proof that growth is possible.
Right. So the action step.
Pick a skill you admire in someone else. Commit to just 10 minutes a day practicing or learning about it. Embrace being a learner.
Love it. Okay, number 12. Disconnect from needing constant external validation.
So important. If your self-worth depends on likes, comments, or others' approval, you're always vulnerable to comparison. It's like outsourcing your self-esteem.
Right. True worth comes from within, your values, your effort. How do we practice that?
The article had a challenge. Try 1 full day without seeking any external validation. No fishing for compliments, no posting for likes. Just be.
Wow, that sounds challenging.
It is, but potentially really revealing. So, the action step. Try the experiment this week. 1 day. See how it feels.
I might try that too. Okay, number 13. Embrace your uniqueness.
Yes. Celebrate what makes you you. Your specific mix of quirks, passions, experiences. Nobody else has that. Comparison tries to make us all the same, but we should resist.
Own your weirdness.
Basically. Often the things we see as flaws are actually what make us interesting and authentic. The suggestion was simple. List 5 things that make you uniquely you.
Oh, I like that. A personally unique qualities list.
Exactly. Keep it somewhere visible. A little reminder of your awesomeness. Action step. Make that list. 5 unique things about you.
Okay. Number 14. The power of mindfulness.
Ah, yes. Bringing your attention to the present moment without judgment. Just noticing sights, sounds, sensations right now.
How does that help with comparison?
It anchors you in your own current reality, rather than getting lost in thoughts about others or the past future. Even a few minutes of focusing on your breath can quiet the noise.
Okay. Simple, accessible. There are tons of apps for this now, too.
Loads. So the action step. Try a 5-minute mindfulness exercise today. Just sit quietly and focus on your breath. Gently bring your mind back when it wanders.
Okay. And the final one, number 15. Recognizing when you might need professional help.
Such a vital point. If these feelings of comparison are really persistent, really impacting your life, your mood, your functioning, please reach out.
It's not a weakness. It's like seeing a doctor for a physical issue. Mental health is health.
Absolutely. Therapies like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, can be incredibly helpful for changing these thought patterns. There's support available.
And more accessible now than ever with online options, too.
Definitely. So the final action step. If this is resonating deeply, if you're really struggling, take a moment to research therapists or platforms. Prioritize your well-being.
Okay. So as we wrap up this deep dive, the big takeaway seems to be this is a journey. Right. Not a quick fix.
Exactly. It's not about never comparing again. That's probably unrealistic. It's about noticing it, having these tools, and gently redirecting yourself back to your own path with kindness. Progress, not perfection.
And imagine redirecting all that energy, the energy spent comparing, using it for your own goals, your own joy.
That's the freedom right there, reclaiming your focus, your energy.
I love that. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Imagine being fully the main character in your own story, shining your own unique light. Because really the only person you ever need to impress is you.
Beautifully said.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
Switch your phone, computer, and social media language to English. Watch movies and TV shows in English with English subtitles initially, then try without. Listen to podcasts and audiobooks. Even news headlines and recipes can be in English. Put sticky notes with English words on objects around your home. As you do everyday things, narrate them to yourself in English. Focus on understanding the general meaning and context of new words or phrases. Learn common phrases as single chunks of meaning. When learning new vocabulary, try to associate the English word with an image, feeling, or situation. Learn new vocabulary through reading, listening, and real-life situations. Pay attention to how words are used in sentences. Use flashcards and spaced repetition for vocabulary acquisition. Focus on mastering high-frequency English words first. Talk to yourself in English, describing your day, plans, and opinions. Find language exchange partners for conversation practice. Record yourself speaking to identify areas for improvement. The more you read and listen to correct English, the more your brain will naturally absorb the patterns and structures. Pay attention to how native speakers construct their sentences. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They are a natural part of learning. Gradually try to switch your internal thoughts from your native language to English. Begin by thinking about simple things in English. Mentally describe what you see, hear, and feel in English. Try to have your initial mental reactions in English. Be patient and persistent. Learning to think in English is a gradual process. Celebrate small victories and acknowledge your progress. Dedicate regular time to English practice. Engage with English content that genuinely interests you. Pay attention to idioms and expressions and learn their meaning in context. Understand cultural context through exposure to English-speaking cultures. Don't be afraid to experiment with new vocabulary and sentence structures. Thinking in English adds another powerful tool to your cognitive toolkit, opening up new worlds of communication and understanding. Be patient with yourself, embrace the journey, and enjoy the process. Seek out diverse English language content that exposes you to varied vocabulary, sentence structures, and cultural nuances. Explore different genres of books, from fiction to nonfiction, and challenge yourself with texts of increasing complexity. Watch documentaries and interviews to hear how native speakers articulate their thoughts and ideas in different contexts. Follow English-speaking YouTubers and content creators who discuss topics that genuinely pique your interest. Engage with interactive English learning apps and websites that offer exercises in vocabulary, grammar, and comprehension. Consider joining online English-speaking communities or forums where you can participate in discussions and exchange ideas with other learners and native speakers. If possible, try to travel to an English-speaking country, even for a short period, to fully immerse yourself in the language and culture. During your daily routines, consciously try to think ahead in English. Plan your day, anticipate conversations, and mentally rehearse what you might say in different situations. When you encounter new information or learn something interesting, try to summarize it to yourself in English. Practice explaining concepts and ideas in English, even if you're just talking to yourself. Challenge yourself to think creatively in English, brainstorm ideas, imagine scenarios, and let your thoughts flow freely in the language. Pay attention to the rhythm and intonation of spoken English. Try to mimic native speakers' pronunciation and speech patterns. Learn common English idioms and phrasal verbs, as these are frequently used in everyday conversation and can significantly enhance your understanding. Explore the etymology of English words to gain a deeper understanding of their meanings and connections. Use an English dictionary to further immerse yourself in the language and avoid relying on translation. Practice active listening when engaging in English conversations. Focus not just on the words being spoken, but also on the speaker's tone, body language, and underlying message. Reflect on your progress regularly and identify areas where you need to focus your efforts. Set realistic goals for your English learning journey and track your achievements to stay motivated. Reward yourself for reaching milestones and celebrate your successes. Remember that learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint, so be patient with yourself and enjoy the process of continuous growth. Embrace the challenges and view mistakes as opportunities for learning and improvement. Cultivate a positive and growth-oriented mindset towards your English learning journey. Believe in your ability to learn and improve, and stay persistent in your efforts. Find a study buddy or language partner who shares your passion for learning English and can provide mutual support and encouragement. Create a dedicated learning space where you can focus on your English studies without distractions. Establish a consistent study schedule and stick to it as much as possible. Experiment with different learning techniques to find what works best for you. Don't be afraid to ask for help or clarification when you encounter difficulties. Utilize online resources such as language learning websites, forums, and social media groups to connect with other learners and access valuable learning materials. Take advantage of free English language learning resources available through libraries and educational institutions. Consider enrolling in online English language courses or workshops to gain structured learning and guidance from experienced instructors. If possible, find a native English-speaking tutor for personalized feedback and guidance. Practice using English in real-world situations as much as possible, such as ordering food, asking for directions, or engaging in casual conversations. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and initiate conversations in English. Immerse yourself in English language media that aligns with your hobbies and interests, such as podcasts about your favorite topics or English language video games. Make learning English a fun and engaging experience by incorporating activities you enjoy. Remember that every interaction in English, no matter how small, contributes to your progress. Stay curious and continue to explore the vastness and richness of the English language. Believe in your potential to become a confident and fluent English thinker and speaker. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep growing. Your journey to thinking in English is an ongoing adventure, so embrace every step with enthusiasm and determination.